Okay, we should be streaming live.
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome everybody. This is Lance Luke and Martin Pea. Ask the Building Expert, a masterclass webinar series. And thank you for joining us. We're actually restreaming on social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Also on our Zoom platform. And the backstory to this is I decided to give a webinar after consulting Martin on home safety tips, tips to help homeowners. And excuse me, if you're in Hawaii, we just got through a major storm event that happened on Friday the 13th. And I guess it was finished maybe on Sunday. But personally, my house did not have power from Friday morning until Monday morning. So it was kind of hectic, but we're safe. But I wanted to take a little opportunity before I get started on this formal home safety tips to talk about awareness of the storm, what to do after storm, and things to be aware of. So that's what's going to happen before I get started on the main focus here. So let me briefly go through a couple slides. This webinar is presented by Construction Management Inspection, which is a local Hawaii-based property building inspection and construction management company. And I'm going to go through these fairly fast so we can get to the meat of the content here. So before I get started on a regular program, I wanted to give some tips about what to do after a storm. And I was discussing this with Martin before we went on live, and here's some tips to be aware of. I know there's a lot worse damage that this storm caused, but I'm going to kind of briefly talk about minor damages to look for. The major ones are pretty obvious, but here's what to do. So after a storm, make sure everyone's safe, and then if the coast is clear, it's not raining and thunder, lightning, and that kind of thing. You want to go and take a walk around your house, and when you do that, be very careful. Look for rocks, pebbles, mud, debris that's in the way that wasn't there before, tree branches, bushes, roofing debris, pieces of wood or other things that may have blown off either your house or your neighbor's, pieces of siding, wood siding, vinyl siding. Sometimes strong winds can rip the siding off, pieces or other wood trim, things like that. Look at your foundation and make sure that it looks secure. If you have foundation issues, some of these issues may be you have footing, or your house is on stilts and you have these 4x4 wooden posts on top of concrete footing blocks or rocks. Look at the footing blocks and make sure the rain didn't erode the dirt away, and you have half your footing hanging in the air, things like that. So those things to be aware of. Look for drainage conditions. You don't want water draining against your house foundation. You want to look for proper water flow. You don't want water ponding against your house and sitting there. Also, check your gutters. If you have clogged gutters or damaged gutters, I know I saw pictures of pieces of gutters that were loose and flying around, landing in people's yards. So those are things to look for. Um, Basically, there could be other things, but just, document things. And if your damages are major, you can have the opportunity to file an insurance claim. And here's what to do. You're going to document, write down everything you see with a detailed description, right? Take photos, take videos if you need to. And the reason for that is, don't think that your insurance person, adjuster, or inspector is going to come by and do all that for you, right? They will, but there's cases where I've heard homeowners didn't document things, and they had water inside their house, and when the insurance person came, you know, days later or weeks later, it's like, oh, I don't see any water, so there's no damage. So you have to document things like no one's going to come, and you have to prove that you have evidence of flood or other kind of damages. Okay, next, if you have major damage and you can't fix it on your own, you're not a do-it-yourselfer, you're going to get contractors, hire contractors. Okay, now's the time where a lot of these fly-by-night contractors come out and offer services for cheap. Okay, so the interesting tip here is to make sure you know who these people are, right? Verify their license. Are they properly licensed? Do they have references? I've seen some emails that was sent. The storm basically just got over yesterday, and people are sending me emails going, oh, here's an email I got. What do you think about this? And I'm like, oh, it's interesting. The email doesn't even have a website of the construction company. So to me, that's a red flag, right? Maybe they're legitimate, but they just didn't post their website on the email. I don't know. So you're going to have general contractors. You're going to have a lot of roofing contractors, right? And they're all busy right now. But make sure you verify their license. Even if a general contractor has a general contractor's license, they may not be licensed for roofing. Okay, if they're doing asphalt shingle work, just because they have a general contractor's license doesn't allow them to automatically do roof shingle type work. That's a special license. So be very careful. Do your due diligence and check on these things. Very important. And then also, if the contractor says it's going to cost $20,000, right, to repair your roof, how do you know that's the correct amount, right? And then also, worse is if they say $20,000 will fix your roof. We need a check or cash for $10,000, 50%. I would be careful about writing checks for half down, because what if they take off and you never hear from them again, and then you're out the money. So just do your homework, and hopefully those tips help you. If you're in doubt, let me know. I got a whole bunch of calls from people recently within the past 3 days about the roof leaks, drainage conditions, and all that. So after this webinar, I have to take off, and I'm going to hit the road and go to my appointments and check out all these things. If you need consultation or advice, call or email, and we can try to help you with that. Okay, so we're getting to the actual presentation here now that I talked about the storm. Why home safety matters? Well, for one, safety is non-negotiable. You don't think, well, doesn't look that bad. I think I'll wait to fix my broken handrail on the stairs or some other kind of issue that is not really safe, but you kind of discount it as not too bad. Okay. The other thing is there's hidden dangers. How do you know, right? You don't know what's lurking somewhere. That's why it's always good to be proactive and maybe have your house and property inspected. And I'm not saying call me to do the inspection. Just have it inspected. If you're not qualified to walk around and inspect, call somebody. That person could be an architect, engineer, contractor, home inspector, construction consultant. Could be any of those people who are professionals. That's what they do, right? They work on houses, they work on construction, they can give you more advice because you're not specially trained to go and look around and find things like that. So I'm trying to advance my slide here and somehow it's not working. Okay, sorry. Common household hazards. There's trips, slips, falls. These are among the leading causes of home injuries. Hazards include loose rugs, wet floors, cluttered pathways, and poor lighting. Okay, so be aware of those things. Also, if your house is old, it could have old components such as plumbing or electrical, aging and faulty infrastructure. Homes with outdated electrical wiring, old plumbing, or decaying structures like wood rot, termite damage pose an increased risk. Okay, so be aware. If your house is old, but you did remodeling or repairs and upgrades, then that's fine. But if your house is built in the 50s, 60s, or even 70s, you could still have old piping and wiring that you don't even know about, right? And you might not want to wait until your electric doesn't work one day and it becomes an emergency or there's a plumbing leak. It's good to have things well maintained. More common household hazards, you could have design deficiencies such as improperly designed and installed railings. How about your stairs? Uneven steps or lack of handrails can lead to accidents. Okay, so believe it or not, there's a building code, and the building code is updated every 3 years. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you did work on your own, did you design it and built it according to code, or you just decided, wow, this looks good, I think I'll go to the hardware store, home and garden store, buy supplies and do it ourselves? And fine, that's good, but make sure things are safe. Okay. Now, if you're not a plumber or electrician, don't do your own plumbing and electrical work, even if you think you know how. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube videos and you can watch it and say, oh, well, I learned how to do the wiring from watching a YouTube video. Okay, for one, how do you know if the person giving you the instructions is actually qualified to show you those things, right? And two, it could be somebody talking and lives in a different state that has a different building code than the code that you're living in. So, be careful. Don't just make an assumption that the YouTube videos are correct. Okay, so most of them are, but some aren't. And I know some people like to go on YouTube or do TikTok videos and show people how to do stuff, but I can tell you sometimes it's not correct. So double check. Let's talk about electrical, fire, water safety. Electrical safety. Never overload outlets or power strips, right? I've seen that a lot. Use extension cords rated for the task, even power strips rated for the task. I wouldn't go buy a power strip and you want to save money. So you go and buy the cheapest power strip possible or cheapest extension cord. That may not be the right thing to do, right? So I usually go for the middle or the most expensive because I double check, and I'm hesitant to buy a El Cheapo extension cord or power strip made in China and the thing doesn't last and the wire size is real thin and it could cause problems. The other thing is regularly inspect your cords for fraying, wiring, or the cover or wear and tear. And this is applies to not only your outdoor extension cords but also your cords that you're using inside your house. And sometimes people buy extension cords for outdoor use and they don't really use it that much, and then even if you don't use it over time there's degradation, right? The covering of the wires it's basically plastic, right, or rubberized coating. Eventually it can start wearing and things don't last forever. So double check. If you see a tear or a cut or something, you may not want to use duct tape and tape over all those areas. You probably can use that with a garden hose, but not an extension cord. I would just throw it away and just buy a new one. They're not that expensive. Some more about electrical, fire, water safety. Let's talk about fire safety. Install and test smoke alarms monthly. And why do I call it a smoke alarm? Because the previous webinar we gave, a smoke alarm is a single device, versus a smoke detector. A detector is a device wired to other devices. So it's almost like you have a high-rise condo building and you have smoke detectors in each unit and they're all wired in series. So it's not like a single alarm. Once the alarm goes off, it triggers other alarms. So that's a smoke detector. Okay, so there's a difference. Keep a fire extinguisher accessible, especially in the kitchen. Who knows, it could be a fire and you want to be able to put it out, right? And not with throwing a cup of water on it or anything, especially if it's a grease fire. It'll just spread the fire. The other thing is create a plan and practice a family escape plan. Make sure everyone knows what the plan is. In case of a fire, right, everybody meets at a certain location. And I know in school they have this fire prevention week, and then the children kind of draw a map of their house, and then also where everyone's going to meet in case of a fire. But that's good. But then what happens when the children end up going to high school? I never heard of a high school doing that. So I think that should be continued for safety. Let's talk about water safety and mold prevention. Watch for leaky piping, especially under sinks or in basements. Okay. Ensure proper ventilation in bathrooms to avoid mold. So the building code for the bathroom, you have to have ventilation, either natural, you have to have windows, right? And if your bathroom is not located where a window is, there should be mechanical ventilation. In other words, there's a exhaust fan that would take the warm air out of the bathroom because there's no windows you can open, right? And then also, they have these water sensors now where it looks like a round, like a hockey puck or something like that, and um, you set it on the floor, and it could be anywhere, and if it gets wet, the thing will go off like a smoke alarm. Okay, and people who have security alarm systems, sometimes these devices come with that, or it's an extra, and then when that sensor goes off, they get notified via their smartphone or something like that. Okay, so I would recommend that, especially if you have a water heater that's inside your house. Okay, water heaters tend to leak and could cause flooding. Security measures to protect your home, okay, your family. Basic home security steps. Always lock your doors and windows even when at home. Okay. Reinforce entry points with deadbolts and strike plates. So you want to make sure you just don't have a flimsy lock. A lot of people have, your regular door handle lock, and they install a separate deadbolt to go with that, and that's good. And then the strike plate is a metal plate where when you turn the key, there's the striker that comes out and engages into the wall, right? So the extra reinforcing strike plate is good too. Sometimes, if you have a wood door, sometimes over time that plate gets loose and it's very flimsy. Okay, so that's for security purposes. Also, around your house, you want to have lighting. What happens at night? Is it dark? You want to put motion sensor lights outdoors. And then also you want to have light so that if you come home at night when it's dark, you want to be sure your entryway, your pathway, your walkway, garage, everything's well lit. So, you don't have to park your car and walk in the dark to your house, fumble with your keys because your porch light is too dim or doesn't work. You want to be safe. Safety first. Also, there's technology, right? As you know, there's home security systems. There's home surveillance cameras and alarm systems. So just like a shopping center or a retail store, they have these alarm systems and cameras. You might want to do that on your house too. And then there's smart apps to monitor your home remotely. So even if you're not home, you have a security system, you can go check it by opening up your phone, and basically, it shows you the locations of the cameras and things like that. I know there's like Ring and other security systems. If somebody rings your doorbell, if you're at home, you could see who the person is. If you're at work or somewhere else and somebody rings the doorbell, if you have this device, you can actually see on your phone who it is. Is it a UPS driver, Uber Eats, or Amazon trying to make a delivery, things like that. That's the doorbell camera I talked about. And then there's actually sensors you can put on your windows for added protection. And there's what's called a predictive analytics in home safety. And what is it? It's using data to forecast potential safety risks before they happen. And that's something with the AI that's used. And if you're interested in that, you can do some research with that. Real world applications. There's smart smoke detectors, or smoke alarms that alert you before smoke even reaches dangerous levels. So if there's like small smoke, depends on the setting. It could be somebody smoking or someone cooking, right? A nice porterhouse steak, and there's a lot of smoke, and it triggers the smoke alarm or smoke detector, right? So I would think that's a good thing. Not the steak, but the safety part of it. And then, as I mentioned before, the leak sensors notify you before major flooding occurs. Okay, so there's good devices that are helpful that you may want to research and consider. And then predictive analytics in home safety. Benefits for homeowners is data-driven insights help pinpoint accident-prone zones in your neighborhood, or tools help families prioritize what to fix first. And probably, usually it's common sense, but sometimes you may not know what to do, and then we can help you with that if you have questions on what to fix first or what's even safe or not safe. Also, I would recommend creating a home safety checklist. Okay, steps toward a safer home. You walk through each room and assess for common hazards. And here's a good tip. If you have teenage kids, right, you can write down, clean your room, or your room's too messy, or things like that. I always have fun when I inspect houses and there's a teenage room, and the parent's home always apologize. Oh, sorry for my daughter's room. She's a teenager. And I said, oh, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Watch. And then, is your daughter home? Yeah. So after I inspect the daughter's room, and then I'm giving the rundown, right, of what I inspected. Said, oh, can you call your daughter? And so the daughter shows up, and I have my clipboard, right? And I'm going down the list. Okay, your kitchen, you may have this problem or that problem. Your electrical outlet doesn't trip. And then moving along. Oh, your daughter's room. Oh, it's really messy. It should be cleaned up. And then, oh, the daughter's all embarrassed, and the mother's like smirking to me. And then after that, she says, oh, thanks a lot. You got my daughter to clean her room. I couldn't do it as a parent, but so include smoke alarms at every single room, right? Organize all your stuff. Believe it or not, I don't know, people become pack rats and collectors. They just like to collect stuff. Like I think I'll use this like sometime in the future, so I won't throw it away or won't give it away. And then eventually, and this is pretty common in Hawaii. Oh, we have a big 400 square foot garage, man. Instead of paying some public self-storage, we'll just use a garage. It's free, right? So you have this nice house with a garage. It's packed full of junk, storage stuff. And what they do, they park their nice cars outside in the driveway. We see that a lot. It's pretty funny. And develop maintenance routines. This is good advice, okay, toward a safer home. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Inspect your cords and plugs, right? If it's not looking too good, if it's old, frayed, bent, scratched, if the prongs in your plug are bent so they don't fit, you might try bend it back. But I would just say, you know what, just go buy a new cord, right? It's cheaper than try to play homeowner handyman and try to fix things, and eventually it becomes problematic. Okay, develop maintenance routines. Quarterly, you want to clean your gutters, or you want to inspect your gutters, right? If your roof is too high, I wouldn't recommend going up on a ladder. I would just hire somebody to inspect and clean your gutters, and that way They can check out your roof too. Service your air conditioning, that's HVAC. Inspect your plumbing. Inspect your electrical. So here's what we say. Every year you should have inspection of your electrical and structural inspection. And people go, well, wait a minute. We don't have money to pay somebody to come every year to do this. Okay, well, how about every other year? Or how about once every 5 years? Okay, how does that sound? And especially if your house is an older house, you want somebody to just check on it for you and give you some advice, right? And don't think, oh, I don't want to call an inspector to come out because what if they find stuff wrong? It's going to cost me money to fix, right? So I know people are concerned about money, but that shouldn't be the major issue on fixing things. It should be safety. All right, so key takeaways here. Home safety is not a one-time fix. It requires regular attention and care. This is like a car. If you own a car, right, do you just put gas when it needs gas and keep driving it around without checking the water or oil or anything else, right? Your windshield wipers. And that's why, guess why they have a safety check for cars, right? Can you guess why the government mandates a safety check for cars? It's because they know people aren't going to do it on their own, right? So they have to force them. So the cars are on the road, right? You're driving a 2,000-pound vehicle, right? If you check your car and everything is fine, what about the guy in back of you, right? Did he have a safety check? What if his brakes failed and he plows right into you, right? At a stoplight. So you don't want that. But there's no mandatory government requirement to have your house checked. Right? And how much is a car? Between $20,000 to $50,000. How much is your home? Between 600 to 1.5 million. So it's like something doesn't sound right here. But that's what I'm telling you. These are good tips, right? Have your whole house checked out for safety. So when you do that, you identify and address risks early, and that's crucial so it doesn't get any worse. My encouragement to take action: start with one small step today, like testing a smoke alarm or clearing clutter, and then, the next day you do something else, right? Set reminders for maintenance tasks. This is always good advice, right? And I know you give advice and some people don't follow it, but we like to give advice and we like to encourage people to follow it. But percentage-wise, not everybody's going to do it, but we can only encourage and provide the pertinent information so people know what to do. Now, what you miss, we've given, over 100 masterclass webinars so far. It's on our website about so many different topics, building and construction. You can get it all free. I'll talk to you more about that. What's coming up? We have our whole platform for this year, 2026. It's all on our website. You can pick and choose which one you want to sign up for. And if you can't make it because of the day and time, I would encourage you to still sign up, because once you do, we capture your email and our team automatically sends you email that has the webinar replay already. So, how good is that? If you can't make it, you sign up, we'll notify you, and you can watch the replay whenever you can. And if you ask, well, I don't know, how do we get to your website? Okay, here it is, askbuildingexpert.now.site. Very important. Okay, so we're updating our website. It's so huge we have to update it every single day. And believe it or not, we have actually websites in that main website. We have websites on different things: asphalt, contractor licensing, painting, waterproofing, the Lahaina fire life safety. So the links to those websites are in our main website, askbuildingexpert.now.site. What else do we have? We have our National Expert blog. We post blog articles. You're bound to learn something from at least the article, one or two articles, or a webinar. Here's just some webinar topics that we did that are on our main webinar. You don't need a Netflix account or anything. You don't need to pay, so free. And then we have a bunch of books that I wrote on different topics: how safe is your building, senior safety in the home, Lahaina wildfire, concrete spalling, monster houses, cast iron drain piping, asphalt. I think we have like at least 70 books, and I'm pretty sure it's free if we didn't change it over yet. So if you're interested, I would download it and capture it now, because at any time we might switch to you gotta buy it from Amazon, because Martin and I, we need lunch money, so we gotta make some money somehow, right? And then a couple new websites we built: buildingcode.now.site and constructionexperts.now.site. We got that for you. And then that's the end of my presentation. You got any questions? We got the answers. So I'm going to leave my phone number and my email address on the screen for a little while, but I'm going to turn it over now to Martin and see if any questions came in. Now, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can post it either on our Zoom platform or on social media, and we can try to get to it. If we don't get to it while we're live, we promise to get to it sometime after, and we have something nice that we're proud of, that we're proud of our track record, that we respond to every single person's either email, text, or posts on social media. If you don't have a question and you have a comment, that's fine too. We welcome comments. And then also, if you guys have any ideas of other topics, we welcome that too. We have a whole team that decides what kind of topics we're going to cover on our masterclass webinars. So we're open to any suggestions that you may have. And I'm going to turn it over to Martin. So Martin, I see you.
You see me? Do you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear, like you turned up your microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, I better put it down then. Okay. So we have a few questions here. So let's start with the first one here. How can renters ensure their living spaces are safe if they do not have full control over maintenance and repairs?
Okay, so in every state, there's what's called a landlord-tenant code, and there's a requirement from the state, right? Whatever state you're in, and it requires a landlord to make sure that the tenant is living in a safe environment. So, for instance, if there's a fire life safety issue, if there's an electrical problem, a plumbing problem, or a roof leak or something like that, your landlord is required to fix these things, right? And that's state law. So my recommendation would be to notify your landlord or property manager and put it in writing, right? And you you should actually take a picture or pictures of whatever the problem is and attach the pictures with your written notice to fix. Okay, and that way you have documentation. So if it's not fixed right away, then you go to Plan B. But there's time limits that are set in place that requires the property manager or landlord to mitigate the problem. And if they don't do it, then the tenant has a right to hire somebody to do it and then charge the landlord for whatever the cost is. Okay, so for instance, your roof is leaking, your landlord says, tough luck, or if I fix it, I gotta raise the rent or something like that. And you're forced to hire the roofer to come out, and you pay the bill, and then you charge the landlord for that bill. But it has to be documented, right? It can't be something that you just wrote up. Okay, you got to take pictures, document it. It's good to have, if it's something major, it's good to hire an inspector to come document it, because the inspector is a professional, and it's hard to argue with the professional report. So because the tenants do not own the property, I know a lot of tenants fix stuff on their own dime, but if it gets to be really expensive, just remember that the landlord is responsible for making the repairs. I've seen some really bad situations where they had holes in the ceiling, water leak, hot water heater didn't work for months, and rodents crawling around, and the landlord basically didn't do anything. So most landlords are responsible, so that's a good thing. So if you need more advice, contact your state consumer protection department, and then they can give you further advice.
Okay, Lance, thank you so much. Next question we have here is, what financial tools or low-cost strategies can homeowners use to improve safety without large upfront investments?
Okay, so one thing is you can inspect your house on your own, and go watch some of our webinars that we gave, or go online and do some research on what to look for around your house for safety issues and all that. So, and that's free. I mean, you can do that and make a list of things that need to be fixed, and keep that list handy so you don't forget about it. Aside from that, you could hire a inspector, a home inspector, and depending upon what you want him to look at, or that if you know, like an architect, a friend or family architect, contractor, or somebody that knows construction or knows homes, maybe they're willing to do it for you at no charge, or maybe there's a slight fee. And then if you want to go the next step, usually if you hire a home inspector, the fee would be between $350 to $650, depending upon what they're going to look for and how long they're going to take. And I'm thinking that fee is well worth it, because to pay, let's say, $500 to have somebody come out and identify safety issues, at least and you get a professional standpoint, right? And the other thing is, even if that inspector doesn't find anything, at least you got like a clean bill of health there, right? But especially on older homes, newer homes maybe not so much, but older homes, I would highly recommend getting somebody to check it out. So Yeah.
Thank you, Lance. Good answer, good advice.
Okay.
And that would apply to residential and or commercial, yeah, as far as safety. Safety.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm glad you brought that up. It would also apply to not only single family houses or duplexes, it would also apply to condominium units too, or apartment units, right? Anywhere that a person's living, it doesn't matter what type of property it is. A condo, apartment building, single family house, whatever, it's the same, except on a condo building, you check the inside of your house. You're not necessarily responsible for the outside, at least for the inspection. You're responsible for the upkeep and payment of the of whatever the cost would be. But if you want to be proactive, you can ask your property manager or condo board, what's the latest inspection report that you got, and then see what they have.
Very good, Lance. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next question is kind of a follow-up to that, I think. How can multi-generational households address different safety needs for children, adults, and seniors under one roof?
Well, that's interesting because, as you know, in Hawaii, there's a lot of homes that have multi generations that live there. So you got a wide range of ages from 4 years old to 90 years old, and there's different safety aspects to different age groups. The elderly, senior safety, they have to be aware of more things than the average person. And then children also, that's a different bracket of safety. So just consider, like, would a child be safe here? Would a senior be safe here? So let's take, for example, you have stairs leading up to your house. So from the sidewalk, you have stairs leading up to your house. If the each step is not the same dimension, and the step is the height of each step. So let's say you have a situation where the height of one step is 7 inches and the height of another step is 9 inches. Okay. Now that's a problem for an average person, because an average person is used to have it even. So when they're walking, each step should be 7 inches, right? Not one step is higher or lower than the other. So this condition is problematic for children, right, as well as for seniors. And it becomes more of a problem for children and seniors than it is for the average person that has no health issues or anything like that. So that's why the requirement to have a hand railing at the stairs is important. Now, I know there's a bunch of houses that have stairs with no hand railing. So even if the steps are even, let's say each step is 7 inches, right? And there's no difference, but there's no hand railing, I would say that would be a safety hazard because there's no hand railing. Okay, and the building code requires a hand railing on stairs that are three steps or more. Okay, but if you have elderly people, even if you have 2 or 3 steps, I would say you still should have a handrail also, just for safety reasons. Yeah, so the code, just remember that the building code is minimum standard only. It's not maximum standard for safety. It's just a minimum standard. So if the minimum standard requires a handrail, right, then I think it would be wise to install a handrail, even if you don't need to follow the code or you don't want to. Yeah, just for safety. So that's just a good tip.
Well, that's a very good tip. Actually, as a senior, just as an example, I mean, our stairs in the house only had rail on one side, yeah, going up and down, and it's more than 3 steps. But as we've become older, we installed the rails on both sides of the stairway so that we get something to grip. So that's a good point. You know, we've seen we've needed to change our stairs to add, more railing or whatever. So, yeah, good point. Good point, Lance. Yeah.
Okay, I'll remember that next time I go to your house.
Or you can inspect them. Thank you. Okay, next question we have here is what role does community education or neighborhood collaboration play in promoting overall home safety awareness?
Well, I can't stress enough for the general public to be aware and actually participate uh, in whatever workshops or public service announcements or anything of that nature that has to do with safety. And I know that there's governmental agencies that stress the safety issue, safety factor. I know there's the senior publication AARP, which also promotes safety for the elderly. There's actually a coalition called the Fall Protection Coalition or something like that. And I wasn't really aware of it in the past, but I'm trying to participate in that. So there's different things that are going on to protect people from falls. And I know that each hospital, they have their own thing about safety, falls and things like that. And not only the physical structures that we're talking about, like stairways without hand railing and uneven steps and all that. There's also the human factor, and that's why these hospitals are promoting different exercises and things like that that could help people with their balance and things like that. I know I saw something about Tai Chi that could help with your balance and whatever medical plan that you have. Do some research and then try to find out and get involved. I know there's the community outreach and there's going to be more of that. So I would recommend getting involved. If you volunteer, that's fine. If you don't, at least find the information out and learn about what kind of programs they have and what information they have to offer. So we got any other questions or comments?
Yes, Lance. Sorry, I was muted there. We get one more question that I've been able to dig up online here. And the next one here is how should homeowners prioritize safety upgrades when budget and time are limited? What comes first and why?
Okay, well, that's a good one because just last month I was at this house and they called me in to look at they wanted to remodel their kitchen and bathroom. So they wanted like ideas from me on like how they should do it or what kind of materials they could use and the difference between the drop-in kind of shower versus building one from scratch and things like that. And their roof wasn't in good shape, and they had some issues with their deck. They had a wood deck that was like rotted out and stuff. So I kind of told them, you might not want to you might not want to be happy, or you might not going to be happy with what I'm going to tell you. What is it? Is it because the remodeling costs are so high? Because they said, how much do you think it's going to cost to remodel our bathroom? And I said, well, it all depends. It could be $20,000. It could be $80,000. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, it depends on what you want to do, right? But then I said, yeah, but let me interject and tell you something. Instead of spending the $80,000 or whatever you're going to spend to remodel, there's certain things that I think you should do first. Oh, what is that? I said, your roof is going to be leaking soon, right? And your deck is rotted out and it becomes a safety issue. Oh, we don't go on the deck that much. I said, yeah, but even so, if it collapsed, you have a major safety issue. So I basically told them, here's your priorities. Forget about upgrading. And I know it's like something that you want to do. And I would say it would be good to do that, right? But to me, that's on a wish list. That's not something that you're required to do. So I have two lists for you. I have a required list and I have a wish list. So let's say we have so much money. What are we going to do? I would take that money and do the required things because it's for safety rather than the wish list. Although, of course, your house is going to be nicer if you remodeled both your kitchen and your bathroom. Okay, so I think we should deal with first things first and take care of those things. Once you fix the safety issues, if you have leftover money, then, and we're not going to have leftover money after we do that. Okay, then create a budget and kind of save money over time, and then maybe you can't remodel your kitchen this year, but maybe next year or the next year, or maybe you remodel your bathroom first because it's less cost than your kitchen, and do the kitchen later. You don't have to do everything one time, right? The other thing is, well, if you consider maybe a home equity loan or something, and then you draw cash from your loan and then you can pay for your upgrades. But I said, as a professional, I can only recommend that you do the safety things first. So I don't want to tell you forget about your upgrades because it'll make your house look better, but do things to make your house safe first. Spend the money for that. And that's it. So that was my advice. So I would say when you make a priority, right, do the required items, must fix items first rather than your, well, it's nice to have items. And I know the bathroom looks outdated, your kitchen cabinets are old already, and this doesn't look good. But just keep in mind, our slogan is safety first. So safety comes top priority versus upgrading anything else, right? If you're upgrading things to make it safer, okay, that's good. Okay, but that's basically what we need to do, and that's the message today. Home safety. We want to make sure everyone's safe, and even if you might not know things, you might hire an inspector and they might tell you things that you didn't know, and just to be aware of. We're not trying to say we want you to spend money, but if you spend money to keep your house safe, that's not unnecessary type of money. You're doing it for a reason. And if your house is safe, guess what? The people that live there are going to be safe too. So that's our message. Martin, you got any other questions or comments before we sign off?
I don't have any more messages here, but I like the wisdom that you've shared, priorities on how to prioritize, not just for buildings. I think it's an issue for a lot of other things, to prioritize the must do first before you follow up with all the nice wants you want. And I think health is one area that needs that kind of focus too for most of us.
Yeah, okay, good. So on behalf of Martin and myself, we thank you for joining us today on this very important masterclass webinar. Well, we think it's important. And everybody, please consider joining us for the next webinar. Go to our website, check it out. And until then, keep safe. Aloha, mahalo.